There are worlds that grow fat on conquest, and there are lands that grow sharp. Scotland is one of those lands. On the maps of Earth, it is not large, but in the memory of Earth, it is heavy. A country shaped by stone, rain, salt wind, and the refusal to be owned. In the galaxy, I have heard proud peoples speak of honor. Mandalorians have codified it into law. The Kaleesh, we carved it into bone and grief. But Scotland's honor was forged differently. Not in one creed, or one empire, or one Mandalore. It was forged in clans, feuds, oaths, and a long argument with history that never truly ended. To understand Scotland is to understand a truth most empires hate. A people do not need to be many to be dangerous. Scotland is a hard land. Not barren, not empty, hard. The Highlands especially, mountain and moor. A place where distance becomes a weapon and weather becomes a judge. In the Outer Rim, there are worlds like this. Not rich in credits, rich in endurance. That kind of land doesn't create softness, it creates memory. And it creates a culture where loyalty is not abstract. Loyalty is survival. Before Scotland was Scotland, it was peoples. The Picts, marked by mystery and carved symbols. The Gaels, bringing language and kingship from the west. And later, the Norse, riding in from the sea, like a storm with names. This is how it begins on many worlds, not as a single flag, but as a stubborn patchwork that refuses to tear apart. Over time, a kingdom formed, Alba, the early Scotland. Tradition remembers a unifier, Kenneth MacAlpin. History is rarely as clean as tradition, but the direction is true. Scotland became something that could be named. And once something can be named, others decide it should be taken. If you want the beating heart of Scotland's legend, you look to its wars for independence. England was larger, richer, and hungrier. Like the Republic facing the Mandalorians in the old wars. Or like a core world trying to civilize an Outer Rim world that never asked for help. Scotland was pressured, invaded, manipulated through succession crises, treaties, and force. And then came a name that is less a person now and more a spark, William Wallace. Wallace became a symbol of resistance, yes, but understand this clearly, symbols do not win wars alone. Scotland endured because resistance became organized, because nobles, commoners, and clans learned the same lesson soldiers learn everywhere. You either unify or you get harvested. Then came Robert the Bruce, a man of politics and war, crowned king, forced into rebellion, and hunted. His victory at Bannockburn in 1314 is remembered not just as a battle, but as a statement. Scotland would not kneel. And when Scotland later declared its independence in writing, the declaration of Arbroath in 1320 wasn't only diplomacy, it was philosophy. A king exists for the people, not the other way around. Even Jedi would recognize the moral weight of that idea, and Sith would recognize the threat. Now we speak of the clans. You can compare Scottish clans to Mandalorian clans. Carefully. Because the similarities are real, but the differences matter. Both are kin-based identities, with loyalty deeper than government. Both keep memory through names, stories, and symbols. Both produce warriors who fight like they have ancestors watching. But Scotland's clans were tied to land as much as blood. To a glen, a valley, a coast, a fort, a river. A clan was protection. A clan was belonging. A clan was also feud. And feuds. Feuds are a kind of war that never declares itself. In Mandalorian space, clan feuds are violent and direct, but often framed by code. In Scotland, feuds could be generations long, passed down like a curse with a family name. Yet the clan system also created something powerful, identity that cannot be erased easily. Empires can burn cities, but clans are harder to delete. Scotland's warfare was shaped by its terrain, and by necessity. It wasn't always about glorious charges, it was about staying alive. Castles became anchors of control. Battlefields were often wet, cold, and brutally close. The Scottish were famous for formations like the Schiltron, dense spearmen bristling like a living wall. Not elegant, not flashy, effective. If you want a Star Wars comparison, a Schiltron is what you get when infantry becomes a defensive machine, like disciplined line troops bracing against cavalry the way modern soldiers brace against armor. It's not romance, it's engineering, made from bodies and courage. Scotland's story isn't only war, it is language. Gaelic in the Highlands and Islands, Scots language in the Lowlands. It is song, poetry, and memory carried through hardship. And yes, bagpipes. On some worlds, the war horn exists to terrify the enemy and steady the heart. Bagpipes do that too. People joke about them. People who have never marched toward death with a sound that tells you, you are not alone.